Congratulations once again, Pi Network pioneers. Today, I've got a story worth sharing. A merchant in China was about to close his shop. No customers, no hope. But then, something unexpected happened. He started accepting Pi payments through the GCV Industry Alliance. And everything changed. Within days, new customers started ordering from other provinces, all paying with PiCoin at GCV price of $314,159 a coin. That single decision turned his business around. And here's the truth most pioneers don't know, that success wasn't luck. It's part of a coordinated system built by real people, not speculation, that's quietly connecting millions of Pi network users and businesses across the world. Today, I'll show you how the GCV Alliance truly works, who's behind it, how merchants join, and how it's turning Pi into a real working currency. This is the bigger picture of how Pi Network is about to spread wealth and opportunity across the world. If you watched my last video, you saw governments endorsing this movement. You saw hundreds of businesses joining. But here's what I didn't tell you. There's an entire organizational structure making all of that possible. And it's way more sophisticated than anyone realizes. The GCV Industry Alliance isn't just some loose group of crypto enthusiasts. It's a multi-level, globally coordinated system with ambassadors, core teams, reporting structures, and a selection process that rivals any major corporation. And here's the crazy part. Regular pioneers like you can actually become part of this system. There's an application process, there are specific roles, there are actual responsibilities that come with real power to change local economies. So today, I'm breaking down exactly how this machine works, who runs it, how they get selected, what they actually do every single day, and most importantly, how you can participate in this movement. But first, let me show you the organizational chart that nobody's talking about. The hidden hierarchy behind the movement. Here's what most people don't understand. The GCV Industry Alliance operates like a well-oiled machine with multiple levels working together. At the very top, you have the global GCV core team. This is led by Doris Yin, the founder of the global GCV movement, along with the assistant executive director and other global coordinators. These are the people setting the overall vision and strategy. But it doesn't stop there. Below them, you have regional ambassadors. Think continent-level GCV ambassadors for places like Africa or Asia. Then you have language family ambassadors who coordinate across countries that speak the same language, like Arab nations, Spanish-speaking countries, or Persian-speaking regions. Then it goes even deeper. Each country or region has its own GCV ambassador structure. And here's where it gets interesting. Every country has at least 3 types of ambassadors working together. First, there's the head GCV ambassador. This person coordinates everything at the country level and reports directly to the regional team above them. They're like the CEO of GCV operations for that entire country. Second, you have education GCV ambassadors. Their whole job is teaching pioneers about GCV, spreading knowledge, answering questions in the community, and making sure people understand the value system. Third, you have ecosystem development GCV ambassadors. These people focus on one thing: connecting with merchants, getting businesses to accept Pi, and building the actual economic infrastructure on the ground. And if your country does international trade with Pi, you can even have international trade GCV ambassadors who facilitate cross-border commerce. But wait, it goes even deeper than that. Under the country level, there are province or state level GCV core teams. Under those, there are city level teams. And under those, there are county level teams. Each level reports upward to make sure everyone is working toward the same goal. Now you might be thinking, why does it need to be this organized? Can't people just use Pi however they want? And that's exactly the question that leads us to why this structure exists in the first place and what happens when it's not there. The problem they're solving. Here's what most crypto projects get wrong. They build the technology and assume people will just figure out how to use it. No education, no coordination, no support system. What happens? Chaos. People don't understand the value. Speculation takes over. The black market explodes. Scammers everywhere. Merchants refuse to accept it because the price is too unstable, and the whole thing falls apart. The GCV Industry Alliance was specifically designed to prevent that chaos. According to their official documentation from July 2024, their mission is crystal clear: promote GCV education to reduce the black market and develop a natural Pi network offline ecosystem using Pi as full or partial payment at the GCV value of $314,159 per Pi. Let me repeat that. Their goal is to build a natural ecosystem. Not forced, not speculative, but actual businesses accepting Pi because it solves real problems. And here's the brilliant part of their strategy. They're using a partial payment model. Merchants don't have to accept 100% Pi right away. They can accept part Pi and part regular money while they're learning and building confidence in the system. This reduces risk for businesses. It makes adoption easier. And it creates a bridge between the traditional economy and the Pi economy. But none of this works without coordination. If pioneers in one city are saying Pi is worth $50 and pioneers in another city are saying it's worth $500, no merchant will touch it. The price confusion alone destroys trust. That's why the reporting structure exists. Every lower-level team reports to the higher-level team to ensure everyone is on the same track. Same education, same value system, same strategy. Now wait until you hear about the strict requirements they have for choosing who gets to be part of this system. How they find the right people. Here's where it gets really interesting. You can't just wake up one day and call yourself a GCV ambassador. There's an actual application process, and it's tougher than you might think. First requirement, you have to understand and support Doris Yin's strategy about partial Pi and partial regular money payments. And you have to prove it by reading all 48 articles in the Pioneer Handbook. Not skimming. Actually reading and understanding the philosophy behind this movement. Why? Because they need everyone working from the same playbook. If ambassadors are giving conflicting advice to pioneers or merchants, the whole system breaks down. Second requirement, character. You have to demonstrate that you're hardworking, honest, reliable, modest, positive, selflessly contributing, and that you have leadership skills. These aren't just buzzwords. They're looking for people who will put the community first, not their own profit. Third requirement, proof of work. You have to actively be empowering GCV in the community, whether that's through education, promotion, or helping develop the ecosystem. And here's the kicker, you have to provide evidence. When you apply, you need to submit 5 to 10 screenshots of your empowerment work from the past 3 months. Speeches you've given in the Pi community, posts you've made on social media, help you've provided to other pioneers, real evidence that you're already contributing, and if confidentiality is an issue, they understand. Your resume doesn't need to include your employer's name or home address or date of birth, just your professional background and what you've been doing in the Pi community. Now here's the application process. Step 1. Submit your resume and those screenshots. Step 2. If you pass the initial review, the global GCV core team conducts an interview with you on Telegram. And because there are language barriers across the global community, you can communicate in writing if needed. Step 3. If you're successful, you get the official title of GCV Ambassador at the country or region level. You receive a name card with the GCV Ambassador logo. And here's something interesting. You can recommend 2 other ambassadors to assist you in the work, but those recommended people also have to go through the review process. Nothing is automatic. Step 4. Once your ambassadorship is confirmed, they make a public announcement on Twitter and other international communities. This creates accountability. Everyone knows who the official ambassadors are. And here's the serious part. If for any reason you stop supporting the GCV value of $314,159 per Pi, The global GCV core team will publicly announce that you've left the community and your ambassador title gets revoked. That's accountability. That's serious. But here's what I haven't told you yet. What do these ambassadors actually do every single day? And that's where the real work happens. What ambassadors actually do. Let me break down the 3 main jobs that make this whole system work. Function. Number 1. Education and promotion. Education ambassadors spend their time teaching pioneers about the GCV value system. They explain why 1 Pi equals $314,159 as a reference value. They spread the Pioneer Handbook. They answer questions in community groups. They give empowerment speeches. But here's the deeper purpose. They're fighting against speculation and black market activity. Every pioneer who truly understands GCV is one less person trying to sell Pi for quick cash at whatever random price they can get. Education creates stability, and stability creates trust. And trust is what makes merchants willing to accept Pi. Function number 2. Merchant ecosystem development. This is where rubber meets the road. Ecosystem ambassadors go out and connect with local offline merchants, coffee shops, restaurants, retail stores, service providers, manufacturers. They help these businesses understand how Pi payments work. They provide technical support for integration. They help merchants set up Pi-based discounts and loyalty programs to attract pioneer customers. Service providers learn how to integrate Pi into subscription models. Manufacturers use Pi for procurement coordination and logistics payments. It's not just retail, it's entire supply chains. And remember, they're promoting the partial payment model. A merchant doesn't have to take 100% Pi on day 1. They can start with 20% Pi and 80% regular money. Get comfortable. See it working. Then gradually increase the Pi percentage. This removes the biggest barrier to adoption: fear of the unknown. Function number 3. Cross-regional trade facilitation. This is the function that changes everything. And it's where that story from the beginning comes in. Ambassadors don't just work within their own city or province, they connect businesses across regions and even across countries. That Chinese merchant I mentioned at the start? He was struggling to find buyers in his own province. But the China GCV Industry Alliance had connections with buyers in a different province who needed exactly what he was selling. They made the introduction. The merchant received over 100 new orders. That's not crypto speculation. That's real business networking powered by the GCV Alliance infrastructure. The same thing is happening internationally. Thai businesses getting connected to Chinese exporters, Vietnamese enterprises linking up with international suppliers, all facilitated by ambassadors who understand both the Pi payment system and the actual business needs. This is why governments are paying attention. This isn't just a currency, it's becoming a trade facilitation network. But here's what you're probably wondering. How does this actually work on a day-to-day basis? How the machine actually runs. Let me walk you through a typical workflow to show you how this whole thing operates in real life. Let's say you're a province-level GCV ambassador in a country that's building its Pi ecosystem. Your day starts with checking in with your local city and county level ambassadors. They report to you about what's happening on the ground, how many new merchants they've contacted, what questions pioneers are asking, what problems they're running into. You collect all that information and look for patterns. Maybe multiple cities are seeing the same merchant objection. I don't understand how to price my products in Pi. That's an education problem. So you work with your education ambassador to create simple guides or hold community calls explaining GCV-based pricing. You make sure every lower-level team has the same answer so pioneers and merchants hear consistent information. Meanwhile, your ecosystem ambassador is coordinating with local merchants. Let's say a restaurant owner wants to start accepting Pi but doesn't know how to set up the payment system. Your ecosystem ambassador helps them through the technical setup and suggests they offer a 10% discount for pioneers who pay with Pi to drive initial traffic. The restaurant starts accepting partial Pi payments. Pioneers start showing up. Word spreads in the community. Other restaurant owners see it working and want to join. Your ambassador team helps onboard them. Now you have a network of Pi accepting restaurants in your province. But here's where it gets interesting. You report all of this upward to your country-level head ambassador. You tell them how many merchants joined, what's working, what challenges you faced. The country-level team sees that your province is having success with restaurants. They share that strategy with other provinces. Suddenly, the same approach is being tested in 10 different provinces at once. And the country team reports upward to the regional team. The regional team sees patterns across multiple countries. They share best practices across borders. What worked in Thailand gets tested in Vietnam. What worked in China gets adapted for Indonesia. This is coordination at scale. This is how you build a movement instead of just scattered individual efforts. And every step of the way, there's accountability. If a province team goes rogue and starts promoting speculative trading instead of GCV education, the country team sees it in the reports and corrects it. If an ambassador starts giving bad advice, their title gets revoked. The system polices itself through transparency and reporting. Now, here's the part that most people miss. There are different ways businesses actually integrate Pi into their operations. How real companies are using this. Let me show you the different ways businesses are actually implementing Pi payments, because this is where theory meets reality. Model 1. Pi-based discounts. The simplest model. A merchant says, pay with regular money, normal price, pay with partial Pi, get 10% off. This creates immediate incentive for pioneers to use Pi. The merchant gets to test the system with lower risk because they're still getting mostly regular money. And pioneers get rewarded for supporting the ecosystem. As the merchant gets comfortable, they can increase the Pi percentage. Maybe they go from 20% Pi to 50% Pi to eventually 80% Pi. Model 2. Loyalty programs. Smart merchants are creating Pi-based loyalty systems. Spend a certain amount in Pi, earn rewards that can only be redeemed with Pi. This creates a closed-loop economy where Pi keeps circulating within the merchant's customer base instead of immediately being converted to regular money. This is brilliant because it increases the utility of Pi while building customer loyalty. Model 3. Subscription services. This is huge for digital services. Streaming platforms, online courses, software subscriptions. Instead of paying monthly fees in regular money, users pay in Pi. The predictable income stream works perfectly with the GCV reference value. A service that costs 0.001 Pi per month has a clear value proposition. Users know exactly what they're paying. The service provider gets reliable Pi income. Model 4. Supply chain integration. This is where it gets really powerful. Manufacturers using Pi for procurement. They buy raw materials from suppliers using partial Pi payments. Then they sell finished products to distributors using partial Pi payments. The Pi flows through the entire production chain. Every step adds value. And because everyone is using the same GCV reference value, pricing is consistent and predictable. Logistics companies are getting involved too. Shipping and transportation paid partially in Pi, warehouse storage paid partially in Pi. The entire supply chain becomes Pi-enabled. This is the vision coming to life. Not Pi as a speculative asset. Pi as actual working currency flowing through real economic activity. And here's what makes it sustainable. The partial payment model means businesses aren't taking huge risks. They're gradually building Pi treasuries while still covering their regular expenses. As the ecosystem grows and more suppliers accept Pi, they can increase the Pi percentage naturally. Now let me address what you're probably thinking right now. The honest challenges. I know some of you are thinking, this sounds complicated. Can this really scale globally? Fair question. Let me be honest about the challenges. Challenge 1. Coordination across cultures and languages is hard. What works in China might not work in Brazil. What makes sense in Thailand might not make sense in Nigeria. The alliance has to adapt strategies to local contexts while maintaining the core GCV principle. Challenge 2. Finding enough qualified ambassadors. Not everyone has the character, commitment, and communication skills to do this work. As the network grows, maintaining quality becomes harder. Challenge 3. Merchant education takes time. Most business owners have never heard of cryptocurrency. Explaining GCV value, blockchain technology, and new payment systems requires patience and repeated efforts. Challenge 4. Technical barriers. Not all regions have great internet connectivity. Not all merchants have smartphones capable of running Pi wallets. Infrastructure gaps, slow adoption. But here's why I'm still optimistic. They're building this deliberately and carefully. They're not rushing to scale before the foundation is solid. They're testing models in multiple countries simultaneously and sharing what works. The ambassador structure creates accountability. The reporting system catches problems early, and the partial payment model reduces risk for everyone involved. Most crypto projects fail because they scale too fast without proper infrastructure. The GCV Alliance is doing the opposite, building infrastructure first, then scaling on top of solid foundations. Why this changes everything. Here's what you need to understand. The GCV Industry Alliance isn't just supporting Pi network. It's creating a template for how decentralized currencies can actually integrate with real economies. Every other crypto project is fighting the same battle. How do you get regular businesses to accept your token? How do you create stable value? How do you educate users and merchants? How do you prevent speculation from destroying utility? The Alliance has an answer. Build human infrastructure alongside technical infrastructure. Technology alone doesn't create adoption. People create adoption. Organized people with clear roles, consistent messaging, reporting accountability, and local knowledge. This is why governments are taking notice. This is why hundreds of businesses are joining. Not because of hype, not because of speculation, but because there's an actual system making it work. And here's the most important part. This system is designed to make Pi a real currency without requiring conversion to regular money. That's the end goal. A full economic ecosystem where Pi circulates naturally, where merchants accept it and pay suppliers with it, where workers earn it and spend it, where it becomes just as normal as any national currency. That's never been successfully done with any cryptocurrency. But the structure is being built right now. So here's what I want you to take away from this. The GCV Industry Alliance isn't some vague organization. It's a sophisticated, multi-level system with clear roles, strict selection processes, and proven results. If you're a pioneer who wants to get involved, there are paths forward. You don't have to become an ambassador to make a difference. You can support local merchants who accept Pi. You can educate other pioneers in your community. You can use the Pioneer Handbook to understand the strategy better. And if you do want to become an ambassador, now you know exactly what it takes. Read those 48 articles. Start doing empowerment work in your community. Document your contributions. Build your resume. The contact information for regional ambassadors is available through official GCV channels. They're actively looking for qualified people to help build this movement. If this video showed you the machinery behind the movement, hit that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment. Would you want to become a GCV ambassador? What role appeals to you most? Education, merchant ecosystem, or trade facilitation? The most powerful revolutions aren't built by technology alone. They're built by organized people working toward a common goal. The GCV Industry Alliance is proving that every single day. See you in the next one.